First of all, I want to acknowledge the Vice President of our board, Cecilia Genoble. She's Vice President of the Board of Control, and she's here today. And Betty Stewart, who was last year's Woman of Excellence Award recipient. So, also, I want to say these things because I always like to preface our ceremony with a few things about women. You know, for a long, long time, for thousands of years, most of the world has been dominated by men, and we see where we are. So I think it's time we let women take more of a hand in things. You know, they have contributed in so many ways to the betterment of society, even many times having the status at best of second-class citizens. Proverbs 31, I know you're probably familiar with that, says that a noble woman, brings food into the household. She selects wool and flax. She spends long hours providing for her family, buys real estate, trades shrewdly for her family, creates clothes for the family, helps the poor, makes and sells linen, and watches over the affairs of the household, while the man sat at the gate, I guess. So women have always contributed an enormous amount to the welfare of families, but also the community at large. And I think probably one of the most interesting facts among the business community recently, certainly Bill Gates had this to say about women and the importance of women in the workplace. He was speaking once at a business seminar in Saudi Arabia, and on one side of the auditorium sat the men, and on the other side sat the women. They were segregated, and the women were wearing, I forget what it's called, it's a full-length garb that even includes covering the face, and they were on the other side of the partition. And a male questioner asked Gates if Bill Gates thought that Saudi Arabia could meet its ambitious goal of becoming one of the world's most competitive economies by 2010. Gates responded, "If you're not fully utilizing half the talent of your country, you're not going to get too close to the top." So with that, I want to invite our Assistant Director, Bianca Roberts, to come forward.
Women are the backbone of our society. We can't do stuff without them. And it's especially important when women take the time to help and mentor other women, which Judge Gasaway has done throughout her life. So we are here to say thank you. That's why we want to do this. And we want to encourage other women to pick up the mantle and go forward and do the same. It's an opportunity to say thank you to those people who do things just because it's the right thing to do, not expecting any accolades, not expecting any awards, not expecting anything except making a contribution. So that's why we do this year. We would like to acknowledge this is our 5th Woman of Excellence Award. We've been doing this for a minute now. Previous recipients include Antoinette Harrell, Terry Voigt, Lila Hogan, and Betty Stewart, who is with us today.
Judge Gasaway is a lifelong resident of Hammond, having graduated with honors from Hammond High School. She's the daughter of the late Vera and Stanley Bennett, is married to Brett Gasaway, and they have one daughter, Brooke, who is a practicing architectural designer in New York City. Good job. Judge Gasaway maintains a private law practice in Hammond and is a member of Grace Memorial Episcopal Church. She's a member of the Hammond Chamber of Commerce, past member of Kiwanis Club, was the first president of the Board of Directors of Options, and previously served on the board of the Richard Murphy Hospice Foundation and TARC. She's also participated as a trainer of volunteers for the court-appointed special advocates, better known as CASA. Judge Gasaway has served as judge of City Court of Hammond since January 1st, 1997. She received her BA and her law degree from LSU. She has served as president of the Louisiana City Court Judges Association, the Louisiana Council of Juvenile and Family Court Judges, and is currently serving as a member of the Board of Trustees of several judicial organizations statewide, and co-chairs the City and Parish Court Strategic Planning Committee and the Louisiana Judicial Compensation Commission. I'd like to say this too, that when I began at the Tourist Commission 33 years ago, my dad called one day and said, I'd like to come have coffee with you. And you always wonder, oh God, what did I do? But he came in that day and he said, you know, this is very political. You may be here 2 years, you may be here 3 years, probably 5 years. Don't ever lose a night's sleep over it because politics do not last. I have to say, our 2015 Woman of Excellence Award recipient has put that to rest as one of the, if not the most popular elected official we have in Tangipahoa Parish.
Truthfully, most of y'all know I'm not a big speech giver, but I wanted to just say a few things. I want to thank you for this award. It truly is an honor. I've had the pleasure of meeting Barry. He's come to our court, and really today is supposed to be a focus on community service, and I think the Tangipahoa Parish Library really reflects what community service is about, which brings me to, sometimes we think of community service as something we do because we need to do it. And there are also other people, and a lot of people in this room, who live community service. They live it through their personal lives and through their employment. And I laugh, I think Barry's one of those, Bianca, a lot of people, Miss Betty. Even though your job may bring you down a certain path and you don't think of that as community service, when I was thinking about what community service really is, I think it changes for us over the years. And if we can bring something to our young people today, which is very often our focus at the library, everywhere we live in every aspect, and especially in our job through the judicial system, is community service is not something we're obligated to do, but we hope it's something that we learn to live from the beginning. And I look around this room and we have elected officials, we have appointed officials, we have our family and friends, and everybody in this room, without calling names, I know in some aspect of your life lives community service. And I thought about how it came about, and I think you'll appreciate our thinking. It's not about when we decide to sign on and do a certain project, but from a very young age, especially in our community, we live it in our churches. You know, when you think back about making the Christmas baskets and going out to visit people, nobody said, let's do community service work today. That's just what they did. And we, you know, you just incorporate that into your life. And then I had the pleasure, and many of you have heard this story, I say now the pleasure of going through the Hammond school system, the public school system. And everywhere along the way from every school, and I literally have told this story, I went to every school in Hammond except Woodland Park. I started at Hammond East Side and went to Pine Ridge and to Crystal Street and to Hammond Junior High and back to East Side and to Hammond High, the old Hammond High. So everywhere we went along the way, I was lucky to have teachers and mentors who never called it community service. It's just what you do. Do you put on a musical for the community? Did we know that was community service? No. Did the old people that got to come listen think it was? I think it was. And then as we got into high school and we joined clubs and we did Interact and Kiwanis Club and student government and all those things and reached out, to us it was fun. And that's how I think you learn to do community service. You learn what's important at home, in your school, in your church, in your community, and you bring that forward. I was very lucky when I came back to Hammond. One of the first boards that I was able to serve on was the TARC board. And once again, we had Mary Porosco and Sylvia Bush. So if anybody in here doesn't know them, then I don't know where you've been. But they were early leaders, I think, in their field. And when actually TARC was separate from options way back in the day, and I was on the board when we split. And as you know, Mary Porosco was very big in that movement to have advocacy for our citizens, our special citizens. And so just living and being able, and then moving forward in our careers. Sometimes I've heard people say that someone got an award for community service, but it was only a part of their job. And I have to take kind of issue with that because I'm looking, I have friends that work in government, in hospitals, in private sector, and if you truly live and love your job, then what you do is more than just your job. There's nobody in this room that I see here that works 40 hours a week and calls it quits. if you do anything else. And you know, just like in the judicial system, we don't call it community service, but we do families in need of services, and we do juvenile drug court, and we do many things that our bosses at the Supreme Court do not require that we do. But we do it because, like you, we want to reach out and set an example for our children, and ultimately we know it comes back to us as a community, and we all are better for it. So just kind of brought that around when I was thinking about it, is that maybe the approach we need to have is to live community service like we all do from the beginning, and our children learn that it's not a negative thing. It's not like when, in my job, sometimes when you get told about community service, it's a little extra something. It's not necessarily a positive thing. So it's like I tell the kids that come to court, I hope your first visit is a happy visit and you're here because you want to. And I think we need to think about community service like that. We need to remember to instill that in our children early so it becomes a natural part of our lives. And if it wasn't truly for the community service that you all bring to the community in your various jobs and positions, elected, hired, volunteer, we would not have the tourist commission, we wouldn't have the libraries, the hospitals, the outreaches, and all the extra services that we have. So I appreciate what you do, whether it's in any capacity that you allow us, and truly in Tangipahoa Parish, I have to say this, that as I go across the state working with judges associations, I'm often told how they're so surprised that we can come from a rural community and they can hear so many positive things. And like so many of you, and I really have to look at Miss Betty because I know she does it, when I go, I never forget to tell them that I'm here from the rural community, I'm here from the country, I'm here from Tangipahoa Parish, and look what we can do. And I think we all need to keep saying that and look at all the things that we have in our community and bring it to everyone else. So it's truly an honor that you've allowed me to do this. There's so many other people that really visibly do so much more in our community. And I want to thank our friends, my friends and family, and everybody that's come. I kind of drag them around with me. They're probably tired of going places with me, but I do appreciate it and everything you do here, and for you making community service really a highlight of this month and allowing me to be a part of it. Thank you.